I'm Mel.
And I'm Liv.
So welcome to Dare to Be Raw with Mel and Liv. So this is our first episode on teen issues. We're going to have 8 of them this summer.
Today's topic is body image, and this is something I feel a lot of people struggle with, boys and girls. Even though the series was my idea, I'm still a little nervous to share, to be talking about teen issues because I'm kind of nervous of what other people will say or think about me.
So did I ever struggle with body image? Let me think about that. To say I hated myself and every ounce of my being is actually an understatement. And all of those things came out as a result of hating myself. Now I'm 45, almost 46 years old, and I'm completely free of this. Yeah! We all kind of have our own little struggles that way, but
these days, especially with social media and everything, it seems like the most important things for teens is appearance, which is something that really frustrates me because there's much more to a person than just their appearance.
So to me, what makes a person attractive is not only the outward appearance, it's actually their inner beauty, the fact that they have compassion and love, kindness, a sense of humor. Those are all the things that attract me as people. I think it's all about the heart, because if you have a beautiful heart, then you kind of glow from the inside out. And unfortunately, when we're self-absorbed and we only care about ourselves, it's like it becomes an obsession. And the more we work on ourselves, we just keep striving for perfection. It's a trap, if that makes any sense. And I just think it's kind of like it's a rat race. It's like you're on this wheel and it just
never stops.
You never feel good enough. So now I just focus on loving myself the way I am, not focusing on all the parts I didn't necessarily used to like. And that's definitely helped me to get free and stay free. If we're talking about body image, I think they know I've struggled, but how have you struggled?
So when I see someone who's pretty or anyone who's attractive, I have a hard time kind of being myself around them. If I see someone I think has the perfect body, especially on social media, it crushes me. And over time, it feels like it gradually kills my confidence. I don't feel good enough or like I ever measure up to society's beauty standards. And a draining confidence leads to not being able to be yourself. So in every situation, it has a really big impact. And I found myself being intimidated by everybody because I noticed everyone's beauty except for my own.
And that's exactly what comparison does. Comparison robs us of our joy. And our value and our worth is not dependent on what we look like. Our value and our worth is on the fact that we were created, that we're here. Every human life has equal value and equal amounts of beauty. It just comes out in different shapes and forms.
One thing that I have struggled with for a really long time was revealing my skin and my body. So in the beginning of this summer and last summer, me and my friends would go to the pool and the river. Well, I always see different friends, so it was the first time I hung out with them in the summer. Just seeing that they had smaller bodies than me really affected me and my confidence. And I remember going home that night and crying and having a bad week just because my body was different. Because their bodies were different, it made me question my own body and my own worth. So it was really hard.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that because in high school, I had the exact same problem. I was my size and my weight, my height when I was 12 years old. And so I always felt like the green giant is my nickname I gave myself, and I always called my legs tree trunks because they were just big and muscular. I would go to a pool party and I would wear shorts and a t-shirt half the time, or shorts with a sports top, because I just felt the same way. My friends were smaller and I just felt like I didn't compete, or like whatever I had to offer wasn't desirable or pretty. Even when I wrote my book 4 years ago, my friends actually told me that they too had eating disorders when they were younger, or they actually felt like they wanted to be me. But it's all, again, in our own eyes, our own perceptions of things. And we never are happy with what we are or who we are. We're always looking to be, well, if I look like her, I'd be happy. No, because a lot of times the most beautiful people are the most insecure.
Yeah.
The most beautiful people are the ones getting all the work done. When I had my eating disorder, This is just to say that it has nothing to do with the weight a lot of times. It starts as a minor obsession, but it can really turn into a really serious disorder. A lot of it doesn't have to do with the weight. It has to do with self-love and realizing who we are and what we have to give in this world. And so even when I had attained the weight I thought would be the perfect weight, that wasn't good enough. I still had to lose more. And when I became emaciated, I looked like I lived in a concentration camp. Like I was on my deathbed for a couple years. And that wasn't enough. I never saw myself the way I really was, if that makes any sense. So it's really a matter of accepting who we are and how we've been made and created. Our bodies are
the only one we have.
Yes, they're a miracle. They're a mystery. Like, who can fully understand the capacities? Like the fact that it knows how to cleanse itself out, or like just the little things the body can do. It's so beautiful to think and to be just grateful of the gift instead of trying to crush the gift.
And keep in mind, you're always going to want to be someone else, but people are saying the same thing about you.
Yes.
So just keep in mind that you're not just the only one that wishes to be other people.
So if everybody just learned to be themselves,
and
the
love
one person
themselves.
they were supposed to be, because if we're all trying to be somebody we're not, nobody's truly being themselves. So we're living in a world full of frauds kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whenever I was younger, especially, if I saw a beautiful woman, I would feel like my beauty was disqualified, like it was erased, it didn't even matter anymore. Like I could never measure up, like my husband or boyfriends or whoever would always prefer them over me. So I think there's a lot of benefits to social media, but there's a lot of negatives that come with it. When I was young, I would sometimes feel okay about myself till I got to school, and then I'd start competing with all the girls at school. But now you guys are still in bed and you're already looking through your phone and you're already defeated before you get out of bed.
First thing in the morning.
I think the danger is that you're competing with people who aren't even real. They've been photoshopped, bodies that are pretty much unattainable. People don't forget, like they always put the best parts of their lives or their filtered parts, but in reality that's just, it's false. It's not real life. It's not reality. They are just doing that out of their own lack of self-esteem. I just think it's important to just watch how much of it you're consuming, because the more you see it, the more you're reminded of your apparent lack, instead of just living your own life and being grateful for all that you have. And the more you can just live your life, do your thing, you won't have time to get consumed with all of that.
Yes. There's so much gossip and people bashing each other, and it's gross. It breaks my heart to see that some people have nothing better to do than just bash on other people and say what's wrong with other people. And we should be nicer and encourage one another instead of just being rude. It's just a teenager thing to do. It's like beautiful people are automatically superior than the rest of the people. And society favors those people too, so they automatically kind of have like an advantage, which is really sad. And how people treat others is a reflection of their relationship with themselves.
Yeah, bullying basically happens in person. It can happen. It's often like gossip is kind of just bullying, but behind people's backs. And it's easy to put people down behind the comfort of and safety of your own screen. But like you said, I think we need to just start treating people the way we want to be treated and loved the way we want to be loved. I don't think there's any amount of makeup that can cover up an ugly heart. Just focus on the good and stop focusing on that one body part you don't like. It's like you can get 100 compliments, but it's the one insult that we'll focus on.
We're all unique in our own way, and I remember someone telling me that if we all exercise the same and ate the same amount of food, we still have different body types, and that's because like our bodies absorb these kind of things differently. So even though you wanted to look like that girl in your class or that model on the internet, you can't, because your body's different than theirs, and it would be very hard to do that.
I just wanted to say that we need to stop focusing on the number. If that scale throws you off, don't even go on it. Your clothes can tell you where you're at with your body. If a scale is powerful enough to ruin your day, your week, your month, take away your joy, make you have a meltdown, why do you have it?
You need to appreciate your body for what it is, because like it's the only one you're ever going to get. So
That's right. And I know for me, 1 pound would throw me off. The number on that scale is irrelevant, because what is a certain number for one person might be 20 pounds more for another one to look the same or to be healthy. It's like you're trying to become a Ford when you're a Toyota. You can't. It's about genetics. It's about taking care of ourselves. You know, work what your mama gave you. Like, don't stop trying to change the metamorphosis of what you are into something that it's not.
Our bodies are amazing. I always feel bad about not liking myself sometimes, because when I look at someone who can't walk, can't hear or see, it makes me feel like I should be grateful for what I have, which has really helped me a lot to kind of recover from my bad self-esteem, which we'll talk about later. I should be thankful for what my body does for me, grateful for the fact that I'm healthy and strong.
Plus, what's in today may not be in 10 years from now, right?
It won't.
And when I was a teenager, being thin was in. And I had curves and I had legs and I had a butt. Yeah, even lips. Like back in the day, thin lips or thin eyebrows, and now big eyebrows, big lips, big everything. Don't worry about your body. From now to the day you die, your body will be in for a couple of decades. So, you know, take the pressure off.
Yeah.
Since we both struggle with these issues, we were thinking we'd share maybe 5 tips that have helped us overcome, because you don't want to be like this for the rest of your life. And I know most people still compare and compete with the Joneses.
Your life, yeah.
Right. We want it to not be all-consuming for you. Tip number 1 is stop comparing. Limit how much time you're spending on social media, looking at magazines, comparing yourself. Because when I was a teen, I looked at fitness magazines all the time, and if I watched TV, I was always comparing and dissecting everybody's bodies and feeding my obsession. The less shows I watch that trigger me, or the less social media or magazines, the better off I am.
No matter how much you limit yourself to those things, you'll always compare, because you see girls in person and you feel bad about what you have, but it's to limit that comparison that's important. So tip number 2 is focus on what your body can do rather than the appearance of it. Being able to walk, breathe, see, hear, instead of just what your machine looks like. Because just like a car, our bodies can't move or function good without gas. Feed yourself and nourish yourself and take care of yourself. And be thankful for all that your body is doing for you. And the way that you can thank it is by taking care of yourself. It's the only thing that will be there from the day you're born until you die, so you have to love it. You kind of have no choice.
In a future episode, we'll talk about eating disorders. When I had my eating disorders, I wrecked my teeth, and as a result I have 6 teeth missing. I have a partial in my mouth, and it all goes to say that however you treat your body today, your body will pay for later. If you treat it with love and take care of it, it will last longer, it'll work better. And if you don't, we don't get to trade ourselves in for newer models. And it's not until our health is taken from us that we are grateful for the fact that it just works.
It's kind of buying a machine. You have to look at the purpose of the machine instead of, the function, instead of looking at what it looks like, because that doesn't make sense really.
Number 3 is accept the way you were created. I believe that God loves us. God is a good Father who created us perfectly. He doesn't make junk, and that in itself is a truth we can't ignore. I had to stop listening to myself and my negative self-talk, which was so toxic and which led me to self-harm and all kinds of stuff. But accept the gift that God gave me, which is my life, which is, like you said, the fact that we breathe. And I don't want you to wait till you're 50 to get this. I want you to get it now so that you can enjoy your life. Because if all you are is preoccupied with how much you hate yourself, then, you know, it's kind of like if you give me a gift and all I do is rip it apart and I try to change it and I try to change the wrapping paper before I even open the gift, well, what's the point? There's a gift inside of each and every one of us, and that's who we are. There's only one of us in this entire planet. There's been, you know, however many thousands of generations before us, and for everyone after, there's never going to be another one of you. And that's pretty amazing to think of. Life is just way too short than to be consumed with that. You're at the pool, you're at the beach, you're with friends, and then you can't even enjoy it.
Yeah, that's true. Tip number 4 is be easy on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. I had a phase where I was doing exercise constantly, and well, like every day, and honestly I didn't enjoy it too much, so I was really hard on myself. I was doing a lot of it. I just decided not being so hard on myself is a form of self-love and self-care. Just like eating and drinking and having a good amount of sleep, just being easy on yourself reduces stress, and it makes you more confident, I find, because you
caring for yourself and loving for yourself instead of all the regimented, strict. Because if you're withholding food or you're over exercising, you're just putting yourself in a box. You're putting yourself in a form of prison, really, because you're not allowed to just go and do this trip today because you didn't do your workout yet. Or like I remember when I was in high school, if I was out doing things, all I could think of that day is when am I going to get my workout in? And I would sometimes work out till midnight when I get home late because there's no way I can just let my workout go. But I remember the first time I ever went a week without my rigid workout or left my parents' house was when I was 15. We went to Dominican Republic. And I still exercise, but not like I usually do. And I thought I'm going to gain 100 pounds while I'm there. Like I was so nervous about going away. When I was there, I came back and I weighed the exact same thing. And I remember that was a game changer for me, because a big reason we get so rigid in our ways is it becomes a form of control, which eventually can lead to a lot of the eating disorders. Because you can't be happy if you're not in control of what you eat or don't eat. Same with the exercise. And that just robs your peace.
Just feel guilty too.
Yes. Now I go a couple of days here and there. I just had surgery this winter, 2 major surgeries, and I didn't work out for 4 months. And
No! No! No!
however, I just didn't feel as good. Like I didn't feel as energized, or I find the biggest help for me is the mental stimulation it gives me, and how just I feel better when I'm active. But it's not out of obligation, it's out of wanting to, and I enjoy taking my walks or whatever. And it's not 2 hours, it's
control.
It's reasonable amounts. Number 5 is to get help. I ended up getting professional help. I would talk to my friends. That makes a difference. And it's about finding the right people. If a certain psychologist doesn't help, go somewhere else. There's always a lot of reasons why we don't love ourselves. And it's good to go figure out what those are so that you can be free from this and that you can enjoy your life and be healthy and happy. If that's what you want, is to just not care. Still take care of yourself, but not let that consume you, then go for it.
So let's all do our part and stop judging people based on their appearance and start looking at what's inside instead of what's on the outside.
There never has been, there isn't today, nor will there ever be another you. So celebrate the beautiful person that you are. Just go after your dreams. Focus on what you have to contribute to this world. You can be a world changer. You can be a person of influence in your life. But if all you're doing is navel gazing, you're going to miss out on the world that's before you.
Ouais, c'est ça que j'allais dire. Je suis comme
This is exhausting, you guys.